Long before the tales of Homer, long before the wisdom of the Bible, and long before the legends of Greece and Rome, there was a story written not on parchment, not in ink, but pressed into clay. A story born in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, over 4,000 years ago. It tells of a mighty king, of his friendship with a wild man, of gods and monsters, of love and loss, of a desperate quest to escape death itself. This is no mere legend, it is the earliest surviving masterpiece of literature. This is the Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's first story of immortality. In the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, humanity built its first great cities, invented writing, and gazed into the unknown with questions about life and death. Among the cities of Sumer was Uruk, a place of mighty walls and bustling markets, of temples that rose like mountains of brick toward the heavens. Here ruled Gilgamesh, a king whose name became legend. The Epic of Gilgamesh was not a single text written in one moment, but a tale woven, retold, and inscribed by many hands over centuries. The oldest Sumerian poems about Gilgamesh date back more than 4,000 years. Later, the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians shaped them into the epic as we know it. It was rediscovered in the mid-19th century by archaeologists digging through the ruins of Nineveh, the ancient Assyrian capital. In the shattered fragments of cuneiform tablets, scholars piece together a story that continues to resonate across time. Gilgamesh, the mighty king of Uruk, was unlike any other. Ancient texts describe him as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, a figure of immense power and beauty. His strength was unmatched, his wisdom said to surpass all others, and yet his greatness came with arrogance. The people of Uruk suffered under his rule. He demanded labor for his grand projects. He claimed privileges that weighed heavily on his subjects, and his pride knew no limits. The cries of the people rose to the heavens, and the gods, hearing their distress, decided to create a balance, a counterpart who could challenge Gilgamesh and remind him of the limits of his power. From clay and the essence of the wild, the gods shaped Enkidu. He was a man of nature, living among the animals, drinking at the watering holes, running with the gazelles. His body was rough with hair, his mind untouched by human ways. Hunters who encountered him found their traps destroyed, their prey freed by this strange wild man. Fearing him, they sought help from the temple of Uruk. A priestess, wise and cunning, was sent to tame him. Through love, through touch, through the embrace of human intimacy, Enkidu was drawn out of his wild state. He learned to eat bread, to drink wine, to join the company of humans. His strength remained, but now his destiny was entwined with civilization. Hearing of Gilgamesh's tyranny, Enkidu entered Uruk to confront the king. The stage was set for a meeting that would change history. When Gilgamesh and Enkidu met, their clash shook the foundations of Uruk. They wrestled with a ferocity that terrified the people, each refusing to yield. But as the struggle drew on, something changed. Neither could conquer the other, and in their stalemate, they found respect. Respect grew into admiration, and admiration into friendship. This bond became the heart of the epic. For Gilgamesh, who had ruled with arrogance and loneliness, Enkidu was the brother he had never known, an equal who could share his burdens, his triumphs, and his fears. Together, they would embark on adventures that would carve their names into eternity. The first of their great quests took them to the cedar forest, a place of legend where towering trees reached toward the heavens. But the forest was guarded by Humbaba, a monstrous being placed there by the gods to protect its sacred trees. With courage and determination, Gilgamesh and Enkidu entered the forest. They fought Humbaba in a battle of strength and will, striking him down despite his pleas for mercy. In killing him, they defied the gods, yet gained glory. The cedars they cut down became symbols of their triumph. Their fame spread further when the goddess Ishtar herself approached Gilgamesh, offering him marriage. But Gilgamesh rejected her, recounting the fate of her past lovers, whom she had destroyed. Enraged, Ishtar unleashed the bull of heaven upon Uruk, bringing famine and destruction. Gilgamesh and Enkidu, together once more, defeated the bull, saving their city but sealing their fate. The gods, angered by the arrogance of mortals who dared defy them, decreed punishment. One of the heroes must die. It was Enkidu who fell under the curse. Stricken with illness, he wasted away over days, his body racked with pain, his mind haunted by visions of the underworld. He described a realm of dust and shadow, where kings and beggars alike ate clay, where the spirits of the dead wandered in darkness. For Gilgamesh, Enkidu's death was unbearable, his grief was raw, his sorrow unending. In losing his friend, Gilgamesh was forced to confront the truth he had always denied, that death would one day claim him too. His fear grew into obsession. He vowed that he would not share Enkidu's fate, and so began his desperate search for immortality. Gilgamesh abandoned his city, wandering the wilderness like a man possessed. He wore animal skins, his hair unkempt, his heart filled with fear. He sought out Utnapishtim, the one man granted eternal life by the gods, hoping to learn the secret of immortality. His journey was filled with trials. He crossed mountains guarded by scorpion beings, passed through tunnels of darkness, and sailed across the waters of death with the aid of a ferryman. Each step carried him further from his throne, further from his former self, and deeper into the mysteries of life and death. At last, Gilgamesh found Utnapishtim, living at the edge of the world. The old man revealed his story, a tale of divine wrath and survival. Long ago, the gods resolved to destroy humanity with a great flood, but Ea, the god of wisdom, whispered the secret to Utnapishtim, instructing him to build a great boat. He gathered his family, craftsmen and animals, and when the floodwaters came, they raged across the earth, wiping out all life. For 6 days and 7 nights the storm continued, until the waters receded and life began anew. For his role in preserving creation, Utnapishtim and his wife were granted immortality. Yet he told Gilgamesh the harsh truth. Eternal life was not meant for mortals. The fate of men was death, and nothing could change it. Still, Utnapishtim offered a final hope. Deep beneath the waters grew a plant that could restore youth. Gilgamesh, with determination renewed, dove into the depths and retrieved it. Holding the plant in his hands, he believed his quest had succeeded, that he had found the key to life everlasting. But fate is cruel. On his journey home, he stopped to rest. As he bathed in a pool, a serpent crept by, stealing the plant and devouring it. Shedding its skin, the snake slithered away, leaving Gilgamesh with nothing but despair. Immortality had slipped from his grasp. Broken, weary, and empty-handed, Gilgamesh returned to Uruk. Yet as he approached the towering walls of his city, he saw them with new eyes. These walls, built by human hands, would outlast him. His name, etched into stone, carved into clay, and remembered in story, would endure beyond his death. Though he could not live forever, his deeds, his city, and his story would. In that realization, Gilgamesh found peace. His quest for immortality ended not in victory, but in wisdom. The Epic of Gilgamesh is more than the story of a king. It is humanity's first great meditation on the meaning of life and death, on love and loss, on the pursuit of glory, and the inevitability of mortality. From its clay tablets, broken and scattered, a voice speaks across millennia. It reminds us that the fear of death, the grief of loss, and the search for meaning are not new. They are as old as civilization itself. The story of Gilgamesh teaches that immortality is not found in the flesh, but in legacy, in memory, in the works we leave behind. That lesson, pressed into clay 4,000 years ago, remains as true today as it was then. In the end, Gilgamesh did not defeat death, but he gave humanity its first immortal story, and in that story he himself became immortal.